What's up guys, MainManSWE here, hoping you're all doing awesome as always, and today Tekken 7 was updated yet again. It was patch 3.03, and it's the patch we've all been waiting for, where Akuma gets a well-deserved nerf, but it also balanced some of the other characters. It looks like this. You can see it below here, but it's covering so much of the screen you can barely see main man. That's a massive problem. So I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna read it to you guys. But first things first, the most important is what happened to Akuma. And here I actually got what I wanted. I know not everyone wanted this. A lot of people wanted them to dive into the details, you know, 10-frame jab launcher, get rid of that, counter it down 1-2 combo, get rid of all that shit. Instead, they did what I sought after, just reduce his meter gain and you counter all of that stuff, you know. All of that stuff gives Akuma identity. I like that word because I want the characters to really set themselves apart. I don't want everyone to be the same. And a big deal with Akuma is that he has a 10-frame launcher if he has meter. Counter it down 1-2 is a launcher if he has meter. Down 2, Hado, FADC. Meter, meter, meter. You know it. He can do death combos, the most absurd stuff if he has meter. EX Ryuken. But reduce the meter gain and all of that becomes less frequent and less of a problem. So he retains that stuff that sets him apart. It's just that he won't be able to do it, hopefully, you know, 50 times per round. So they have reduced his meter gain by 25%. A lot of people felt it was too little, but 25% is quite substantial. And it doesn't say that it's, you know, him hitting the opponent or the opponent hitting him. So I think it's across the board. It's going to be him absorbing damage and him dealing damage, 25% less on both of those. So you will absolutely feel that, but I wonder if in the end that is going to be enough. That's where I'm not certain at all. But it's definitely a hefty nerf on Akuma. So this is of course very welcome. And then we had some other things happen. Actually, Zafina, a character I care for a shitload. A lot of people, you know, I've never really had a female character I really enjoy in Tekken, but Zafina is great. Yeah, I'm gonna read her changes, but I just want to pitch Zafina here for a little bit. You can actually play her very fundamentally due to her incredibly strong movement, like backdash, sidestep, some of the best in the game. You move around and then you make your opponent whiff if you have strong movement, and then you can down for 2 launch them with punish because her down for 2 has got excellent range. So, and of course this applies to all of her pokes, and if you have good movement, fundamentally you have a lot of stuff you can do there. And then you mix that with the confusion, you know how she stands like this, has 3 stances, an enormous amount of strings and very confusing animation. So it's like you have 2 different things there, 2 different approaches, and you add to that the Azazel claw gimmick, and suddenly things are very spicy indeed. But so she got a buff her back 1, you know, where you time into that throw. If you don't play Zafina, you remember in the trailer where she hits them mid-combo, and then it's like a cutscene, you know, and she dives through them with her big claw and kaboom. That's pretty much just frame right now, but with this patch, it has 2 more frames of leniency when you tap 1+2 when back 1 hits. So it's going to be super easy to do now, and I like this because it looks really cool and it gives her access to a lot of damage. So good shit. And they increased the distance at which you can shift to a throw after hitting an airborne opponent. So it's got more range as well, the conversion. And then her while rising 1-2 changed the damage from 15 to 18 and shortened the recovery time after a move misses or hits by 2 frames. So it recovers faster if you hit, so that's going to give you better juggles, and it's better on whiff. That's really nice. And Zafina's while rising 4 shortened the recovery animation by 2 frames, changed the opponent's behavior when hit, increasing the recovery time by 3 frames. This changes the frame advantage. God, there's a whole book here. Changes the frame advantage from -9 frames to -7 when blocked, and from +2 frames to +7 when the move lands. So her while standing 4 has gotten substantial frame boost, much greater advantage on hit, and less of a problem when it's blocked. And Dragon of Wild Rising 1-3 was nerfed, and here I have to say I'm very surprised. I thought they were going to remove the wall bounce property on Wild Standing 1-3. I found it to be just absurd, but he retains it. They just nerfed the damage a little bit from 12-20, so that's first and second hit, to 11-17, so that's a 4 damage nerf. It does now 28 damage instead of 32, but it's still a 12 frame while standing punish wall bounce. It's, yeah, 4 damage less, but it's still completely absurd. So yeah, I guess that's here to stay. I honestly thought that was a slip up, you know, from the developers. Like, how about adding this? And then they kind of, I thought they would change their minds, but okay. And then, interestingly, Negan is buffed again. He's down back 2, so that's the chunky low where he goes into intimidation if it connects. So chunky low into frame advantage intimidation. It's got bad range, but it's still good, especially at the wall. They've shortened the recovery time by 1 frame when the move is blocked or misses. And this is a big deal because suddenly on block now, it's -14. Used to be -15. So everyone would launch that pretty much. So now -14, most characters can't launch it. So enormous buff for Negan. And even before this buff, strong contender, you know, tier list wise, I think, and as a tournament character. Didn't see him at all in Season 2. He was pretty much a work in progress, unfinished character with pretty terrible properties. But now, mix-up monster with really good punishment as well. So get ready to see a lot more of Negan. Well, mostly due to the Season 3 balancing. But of course, down back 2, -14 is also a big deal. So that was the update. I don't know, how do you guys feel about it? Would you have liked to see all of that stuff removed from Akuma? You know, 10 frame launcher, down to Hadouken, all of that stuff. So he still has the crazy stuff. It's just that you will see it more seldom. And I do know that Mr. Geese, who I play, he's seen his meter gain reduced a hell of a lot more, I think, than on overall 25%. Or maybe they are evenly matched now, him and Akuma, in terms of meter gain. But it's going to be really interesting. Probably you won't see everyone playing Akuma now, but absolutely you will see people play Akuma. He's still a beast. So yeah, that's it for the update. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a lovely day. Take care.